Right.
Okay.
We good?
We should be good.
We're live.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us again. We have head ref Chris Lecomte ready to get us going for Game 2 of this series between Ottawa and Boston.
In case you missed it, Boston currently leads the series 1-0. We will be your announcers, Mario Nasta and
Teddy Costa, coming at you live. Veteran ref crew today. Everything went smoothly in Game 1. Let's see where we're at for Game 2.
Aggressive beating from Ottawa to start. Fortunately, it looks a little too aggressive, losing all bludgers, allowing Boston an immediate no bludger offense. Ball in the hands of Doyle, over to Albazala, and a quick goal. Boston on the board, 10-0.
Unselfish play right there. The coach's dream. Everyone touches the ball, and I'm pretty sure both beaters also made beats. That's a 6 out of 6 can't miss type of play. Ottawa looking to respond here.
Ball in the hand of Bueno going down the pitch to start. Trade of beats ignored by the Boston beater. Don't think they're going to actually give a card for that. Ball back in the hands of Boston. Obazala, unfortunately, just misses his dug attempt there.
Oh, man.
And then follows it up by a throw a little bit above the hoops.
Absolutely.
Wiping his hands on the jersey. Clearly sunblock kind of an issue there.
Smokes 2 bunnies. Jake Archibald would point to sunscreen as the issue, but not play that you're typically expecting there. Either way, Ottawa catches a break.
Ball back in the hands of keeper Bueno going down the pitch. Only one bludger for this Ottawa offense. Again, they looked at their best last game when they could get control. We'll see what they're able to do here at their first attempt. Fortunately, a missed beat and an immediate defensive stop from Mayer allows for a fast break and a goal for Mayer.
Mayer going coast to coast, says, no thank you, I'll take it myself. Make sure the ball gets all the way through the hoop here. And it is 2-0 Boston. Ottawa beaters on that one, splitting their attention against control, and the missed beat during the exchange really just kind of doomed that play in the quad ball game.
However, they were able to pick up control, so now they will have their first shot on offense with control. Brockman sending it to the top over to Gieler, who sends it right back to Brockman on the right wing. Brockman passes across. Unfortunately, Doyle, showing off his height once more, makes a stop, comes out of the zone, and then unfortunately sees a beater and immediately passes it backwards to Skura back into the zone, which will result in an immediate turnover, Ottawa's ball.
Fantastic play by Ottawa in transition to force that turnover right there. Great job by the beaters, trying to weaponize their control.
Yep. Unfortunately, Boston beater applied enough pressure that Barassa needed to make an immediate shot coming out of that stop. Barassa not quite able to put it through the hoop. Ball will be back to Boston. Skura on the left wing with the quad ball. Scott Doyle deep, catches the pass. A little drive, floats a pass over to Abazala, catches, sends it back to Doyle. Doyle's got Mayer, uses a screen, sends it right back over the left to Skura. Mayer beat out. Skura will look to slow down a little bit. Ottawa probably should push the pace here with some of their beaters, but are electing to just stay on the hoops, which is going to allow Boston back into this offense. Ball back to Skura, takes a little drive, takes the shot, then takes the shot, puts it through the top hoop, and that is 30-0 Boston lead.
That was a great job by the Ottawa defense initially to get a stop out of their 2-2. They fall back into a hoops defense, and then they just let Boston be patient. They kind of let their foot off the gas there. So some good things and some less than ideal things in terms of execution, but an example of at least making Boston play in the half court. If they're able to keep controlling the tempo at the pace they want to play at with their defense, this will be better.
And that is a beautiful goal from deep
absolute
Naftal.
dime, a rainbow through the top half of the top hoop. More of that, please. Looked like Steph Curry on that shot.
Puts our score at 30-10, Boston lead. And Ottawa settles back into a hoops zone.
Boston again into their depth early here, though. The 3-1 score at this point in the game is very different than the same time last game.
Ooh, again, Boston just struggling to hold on to the ball a little bit as they're driving. They might have applied a little bit too much sunblock in between the two games because ball is just sliding out of people's hands.
Great hoops defense, though, by Ottawa. Good job being in position, not giving up anything easy, taking advantage of the missteps.
Ball in the hands of Nathan Reed at the top for Ottawa. Driving all the way across the pitch. Looks for a pass over to Geeler. Geeler looking to drive. Dodges a beat.
Strong hands and one.
Appears to have put it through, but there is going to be a stoppage. All right, yeah. And one.
My goodness.
Goal will be good. No time will be served due to the goal.
For the viewers at home, I'm not sure if you can see how strong this person's hands are. That ball looked like it was coming out. It was kind of cradled between the forearm and the fingertips in the middle of a two-arm tackle from Abe Benningson, and was able to just pull it back in, get out of the tackle, and absolutely posterize this hoops defender in Andrew Steinberg. Great job of winning the physicality game, and again, able to control the tempo by Ottawa.
Great stuff from Max Guiley there. Hopefully Ottawa can continue to look to that well and get some more physical driving. Ooh, a shot goes off the bottom rim of the hoop for Boston, resulting in a turnover. Score is still 30-20. Boston leads. Ottawa looking much more composed this game than the last one, and will now begin an offense without control.
And you knew it was there. You could see the framework last game. It seems like the game is slowing down a little bit, and the execution is definitely improving on the Ottawa side. Obviously, Boston can't keep smoking layups and expect to beat anybody in this league. This is Major League Quidditch, so you got to make sure the ball goes through the hoop.
Pass to the wing. Ottawa passes deep. Immediately wrapped up. However, not positive that was from the front 180.
Might have been over the shoulder. Either way, it's illegal contact, so we don't have to decide.
It is going to be.
Chris LeCompte has decided for us.
It's going to be a contact from behind. Ball will go back to Ottawa. Hawley with it in hand and a hoop directly in front that they are eyeing down. Very good scoring opportunity to tie it up 3-3. However, Collier with a bludger for Boston is looking to stop this before it can happen.
And he
a
does.
Beautiful beat by Collier, leading to a fast break opportunity from Boston. Missed beat from Ottawa allows the driving Steinberg to collect a pass, put it through the hoop, and extend the lead 40-20, Boston ahead.
That's what you'd like to see if you're Coach Tom DeMuth in terms of adjustments, right? You're getting the ball in deep, you're getting good opportunities around the hoops. Let's make sure somebody finishes with authority, and as I've lovingly called him before, the maniac, Andrew Steinberg, finishes strong in transition off a great pass from Abe Benningson.
Little back and forth action from the Ottawa team. Baits out a few beats. Now have a 3-on-3 against hoops. Unfortunately, Reed not quite able to keep that ball in hand. It's going to lead to a turnover. Looks like Reed may have caught a stray body as he was heading back to hoops off of that beat. It's going to happen sometimes in the game. People are running back and forth real quick. Sometimes we don't see him coming. Hopefully he'll be able to make it off just fine and get right back into this game.
Good to see that they're okay. Quick sub as the game was stopped for a health-related reason, or suspected health-related reason. Good to see that they're okay.
Getting back into it, Benningson sends it to Richardson. Richardson putting on the speed, gets a quick goal, puts Boston up 52-20.
Yeah, you wouldn't know looking at that fantastic jump cut, but Richardson actually has a football background. That's me being sarcastic. Well done in transition.
Ottawa begins another offense with the ball in the wing. Allard looking to drive central, but is immediately swallowed up by both of Boston's beaters, leading to yet another fast break, yet another goal for the incredibly speedy Will Richardson.
I love what Boston did there. We talked about in the pregame, for those of you who were fortunate enough to join that stream, the importance of not taking your foot off the gas. They had a couple of missed bunnies early, but I love the delayed blitz from Fiona Weishart right there while Biddles had locked on the other engaged beater. They tried again here, but it's stifled. But Boston's able to just fall back into the 2-2 they're already in.
And some beautiful double beats from the Boston team. Both beaters lighting up Ottawa players, allowing for another drive from Boston against no bludgers. And Benningson is going to put it away. A beautiful pass from Steinberg. And they will now lead 70-20. Ottawa really needs to put some goals on the board if they're going to get back into this game.
And the depth has kind of settled down in terms of early mistakes. Boston playing really strong so far this series, all the way roster spots 1 through 30.
And yet again, Boston beaters are just blowing up the mid-pitch. Biddles taking out the Ottawa beater while Weishart clears out all the chasers, just opening up lane after lane for this Boston offense. And yet another fast break puts Boston up, I believe, 80-20, fixing the scoreboard right now. Ottawa on the other end, trying to get a fast break of their own as some of the bludgers are still on the ground. Able to get a loose ball, keep the play alive for a little bit, but another beat cleans it up, and ball back in the hands of Boston. Crawford coming down the right side. Weishart beating chasers, catching bludgers, opening up lanes. Crawford sends it to Beckman, and Beckman puts it through the hoop. Boston is firing on all cylinders, and it is just being helmed by these beaters right now.
Honestly, the pace of this game right now, I think I need a timeout. This is blistering. That shift from Weishart and Biddles was absolutely bananas. You'd have thought there were 4 of them out there.
At least.
One thing that I love about playing in the quad ball game is you get to look good because of all the hard work the beaters are doing. They just dominated in every aspect, every beat, every catch, every exchange for about 3 minutes.
Teddy would know all about that.
Believe me.
Getting a quick pause here. I believe Ottawa is looking for a timeout to prevent another fast break. Probably a good call on their part as the score is currently 90-20. They started off real tight, keeping it 30-20 for probably the first 3 or 4 minutes of this game, but the wheels have fallen off a little bit. So, Teddy, if you're in that Ottawa huddle, what are you talking about right now?
We're talking about the things that we talked about before, right? In terms of poise and controlling the pace of play. How do you do either of those things? It starts defensively, right? You want to make sure that you're able to get stops to control the pace of play. That way you can be playing in the half court under control and just focus on the easy things. Focus on making sure your passes are tight. Focus on making sure that you're going together with your beaters, right? Like I said before, the Boston beaters are just hot today. They're on one right now, and sometimes you're gonna run into a buzzsaw like that.
Yep.
It's not always every beater up and down, but hey, this is the big leagues, right? And you got to be able to adjust. So if I'm in that huddle, I'm talking about how do we simplify things? How do we get down to the things that we're able to execute? What's our bread and butter? What do we like to do? Where do we like to get our shots from? And how are we able to get ourselves to a place where the game isn't moving too fast? So I'm looking at doing everything I can to not split the beaters. I'm trying to keep the play in front of my chasers, my ball carriers, so that way we can read and react appropriately. And I'm trying to make sure that our chasers continue to do a good job of not being on the ball too long, not trying to do too much, and still trying to force the Boston defense into rotation. Sometimes when a defense is doing everything it can to go force turnovers, they're going to leave holes exposed. If you can have the poise to overcome that first wave of pressure, it'll be there for you to exploit.
I think speaking of that first wave, right now both of Boston's beaters are playing outside the keeper zone, attacking from the wings, coming at a head to the center of the pitch. If they could get the ball back in the hands of Naftel or any of their chasers behind hoops on the Ottawa side, I think they might have some decent scoring opportunities, because Boston is really focusing all of their pressure up high.
Yeah, great point, right? Go where they're not. Take what the defense gives you. That's a fantastic point. You don't need to win exchanges up top, but you need to force the defense into rotation, right? I don't care what kind of offense you have. If you have a high ball screen based offense, you have a motion offense with a lot of passing, you got a little screen the screener flex option. You like to wait completely for no bludgers. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to do anything if you don't force the defense into rotation. So right now, they're very much playing on Boston's terms thanks to the beater play, the beater exchanges Boston's able to win. You want to make sure that you can do what you can to keep it simple and flip the script on that so that you can play a little bit more on your terms. Then the pace of play will come back to you and it'll be easier to keep making good decisions. Get some momentum on your side.
100%. Also want to take this time to give a shout out to all of our incredible volunteers. Specifically, we'll give a shout out to our cameraman, Jose, killing it right now.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
crushing
being
it.
here, bud.
Hip
Absolutely.
hip.
Jose!
Well done. Electric crowd today. Absolutely packed house. You can't see behind us, but they have sold out every seat in the building. That's right. ML Quad Ball is the hottest ticket in town. Make sure you do what you can to get yourself some. But just a beautiful day. Great summer day.
A little bit warm out here. I think that's why refs are giving these timeouts a little extra time just to make sure player safety is on the forefront. Give everybody time to be able to get back in and keep playing without risk due to this heat.
Absolutely.
It does look like players are back on their brooms. Should be getting started any second now. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, score is currently 90-20. Boston leads coming out of this timeout from Ottawa.
Some confusion on the Ottawa sideline.
Ottawa not confident where their last broom is. That does look like a pretty bent broom, if I'm being honest. We might need to replace that. Yeah, I don't think
showing
that's
the
exactly.
evidence.
Don't think that's exactly regulation anymore.
Is there a spec on
I think
broom
straight.
straightness?
I think straight line is usually what we look for.
All I'm saying is
180 degrees, something like that.
Straight doesn't work on an industry spec sheet. We'll see if
You would know better than I.
it's the bane of my existence right now, but I love quad ball more than I love capitalism, that's for sure.
Damn straight. Speaking of which, got a new broom. It is looking incredibly lined up. We will be getting back to it. Bueno, high defense at the kicker zone line, showing off those thighs.
Skies out, size out.
Big hits from this team right now. Boston passing around on the top. Lawrence to Beckman, back and forth. Lawrence takes a shot, goes a little bit high, and Ottawa is able to recover the ball.
Well done by Ottawa. Love that. Changing up the defensive look, coming out well communicated and mentally focused on the timeout. Well executed 2-2. Boston a little bit sloppy, but again, it's a good example of just by switching up your defense, you will get a few extra stops a game. You can't focus on novelty being the only way to get stops, but hey, in this league, every stop counts.
Bueno with the drive and shot a little bit high. I think they might have just lost patience there. Did have some passing options and had bludger control, so would love to see them calm down a little bit on the next drive. Ball in the hands of Boston.
Whoa, what a catch by McCready.
Incredible catch by McCready. Is going to switch up bludger control. Allow Beckman to get a nice open pass to Delt. Sends it off to Lawrence. Lawrence is going to calm down a little bit with the ball on the top of the key. Sends it deep to Crawford. We are going to get a stoppage here. Going to be a foul. Ottawa 18, I believe that's Naftel. As Chris mentioned, legal SWAT, either, or both I should say, resulting in quad ball and bludger turnover, but because Boston already had the quad ball, they'll just continue. Unfortunately, the pass, a little bit sloppy to Lawrence, allows for a beat and a fast break by Ottawa. Brockman able to drive, block a bludger, and get a pass off Pass comes back to Brockman. Brockman looking across. Unfortunately slapped down by Delk. And Boston is going to take back control of the quad ball.
Great effort both ways there. The beaters are going nuts. The chasers are being physical, getting hands up. But some great blocks and dodges in transition by Ottawa. Good back and forth play. Doesn't result in a goal, but man's exciting to watch. Ottawa back in the 2-2 now.
Crawford sent it to Lawrence. Lawrence the ball up top. Even up top, calm with the bludgeon control. Just hanging back.
Andrews trying to get that hammer beat, that timber beat, whatever your team calls it, beating out the side hoops chaser. Ottawa countering to not let an opening open up.
A little bit of a miscommunication there. Beckman looking like he was going to drive, faked out not only the Ottawa defense but also his own chasers, resulting in a missed pass. However, Crawford able to collect it before it goes out of bounds, drive through, and get another point on the board for Boston, bringing them to a 100-20 lead.
Crawford deciding he's had enough of the missed passes. The no look wasn't there. It was there, but
he wasn't looking.
It was, yeah. You can't miss a pass if you don't pass. So Crawford just ate a full tackle, got up and scored anyway. Kind of a barbarian's way to do it, but all the goals count the same, and there's no pictures on the scorecard. So you'll take it if you're Boston.
Allard looks for a pass deep to Naftel. Lawrence able to get a hand in that passing lane. Turnover into a fast break. Unfortunately, turf a little bit too slippery. Not able to get around the Ottawa defense. The ball will go back to Gieler on Ottawa to start their drive.
Turf Monster wins again. Great play by the Ottawa beaters to get the ball back into play. Couldn't tell if it was a block or a missed call by Bears number 97, but either way,
it was a block actually. It was a lucky block.
It was. Hey, they all count the same. That was a great job to get that ball back into play. Made Peter Lawrence think they needed to cut to get around the defense and resulted in a turnover.
Another stop from the Boston defense. They are forcing a lot of long shots and long passes from Ottawa, and they're just not quite landing. Ottawa's going to need to tighten things up a tiny bit with that ball movement. Skura passes off to Bento and then heads deep.
Boston trying to attack the Trees defense now out of a box geometry.
Ball goes wide to Tremple, who has one snitch catch on the day. I'm a little salty. Ball comes back up top to Cole. Blocks a shot from Reed. Boston able to collect the block shot. Passing around. Tremple to Skura. Skura to Bento. Bento back to Tremple. Tremple sees an opportunity thanks to a beautiful beat by Dillman opening up that small hoop. Unfortunately, it looks like it might have knocked over the hoop without going through. The refs are going to discuss to see whether or not it was in. I gotta say, whether or not it did go in, the thought there was brilliant.
Yeah,
Quick beat from Leanne and a quicker shot from Tremple. Love that.
Yeah, good timing, right? So you don't end up with a goal on that one. But one thing that you can look at if you're a team watching this film, you can see the way that Boston is looking to attack the zone that way by beating on the wing chasers at the hoops. But they're not falling in love with it. They're not getting stuck in it. Their beaters are taking it when it's available, trying to communicate it, but they're not getting completely locked in that situation. No, that is the first Ottawa timeout. The last one, I believe, was like a health and safety timeout.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's one thing I think is really important. A lot of the time, when you're coming up with a game plan as a team, you're like, okay, this is what we're going to try to do, X, Y, and Z. And you just don't react to anything else. You're trying so hard, you get so much tunnel vision on X, Y, and Z. So I think Boston's doing a good job of, their beaters are always looking for it. They're trying to get there. And sometimes Ottawa's countering and the opportunity's not there. In that instance, it was. They get a good shot, but the hoop broke the wrong way for them.
Yeah, so last Last stoppage we talked about Ottawa. I think the same things probably hold true. Honestly, the score hasn't changed much since then, but with that in mind, score not changing much, Boston not getting a lot through in this last section of play. What do you think they should be talking about in the huddle right now?
Execution, execution, execution. It's mental focus, right? So, kind of a good news, bad news thing. Bad news, I'd say the mental focus isn't the same as the first game. If you're on the Boston sideline, that's the bad news. The good news, and from that perspective, is you're still getting good opportunities, right? So,
And you're still up by 8.
sure, absolutely. But you can't control always whether or not the shots go in. Just a matter of making sure you get good shots. I think in the case of Boston, they're not just missing shots; they're missing layups, they're missing dunks, they're missing clear opportunities, and those are the things that you want to make sure that you clean up. So keep playing with good intensity, but you got to up the mental focus right there. Is what I'm saying if I'm the Boston couple.
All right, we'll start things back off. Boston again is currently leading 100-20. Ottawa's quad ball heading down the pitch slow.
And just to clarify, that was Ottawa's first and only timeout at the last break. The break before that was, I think, based on just the heat, giving all the players a break called for by Crystal Combs. I believe it was a 10-minute timeout.
Reed with the ball for Ottawa. Some traded beats up top, forces the ball deep. Nafta looking to shoot over Skura. Skura, unfortunately, is almost as tall, if not as tall, as Lawrence, and so able to make another incredible block. Nafta, not deterred though, picks up at least 1, if not 2 rebounds, keeps trying to push it through. Unfortunately, it was basically a 4-on-1 there, and she was not able to quite get it through.
Fantastic effort and no quit on the play from Nafta right there. But just want to pull it back to that defense really quick, right? You see Skura, you see Lawrence on the cleanup end of that, but that was started by Dillman, who didn't even need to win an exchange on that play, encouraging her point chaser in Emma Poland to go pressure the ball, which allows her to play on a string, step up, create, take some space for the defense, force a tough pass that results in a swarm around the off-ball player to receive it. So a great job of beating with your mouth in a way by Leanne Dillman, beating by communication, and you love to see it.
Truly incredible. Ottawa now driving again, passes to the wing, looks to pass back up top. Unfortunately, pass a little short. Bento is able to snag it for Boston. Start another Boston offense, currently 110-20. Boston still with bludger control. The sets since Weishart and Biddles have not been quite as aggressive, but they have been very methodical. They're taking that approach of just beating off the wing chasers, hovering on hoops, opening up shots for the Boston offense. And there we saw an opportunity and an immediate shot with a goal this time. Brings Boston's lead 120-20.
Another great job by Dillman on that play. Good job by Boston going back to the well, right? Just something to keep in mind as you're in charge of a team, right? Just because something didn't result in a goal doesn't mean it didn't work. So in that, A couple of plays ago, you don't get the goal out of it because of the way the hoop fell, but it still got you a really good chance. They go back to it and get a goal this time.
Some beautiful beating again by Boston leads to a no bludger offense, which they were able to convert on. 130-20, Boston leads.
One of the things that was a big talking point, we talked about it just a smidge in game one, talked a lot about it during the Charlotte series with Ethan Sturm and Nick Jablonski on the call, was the desynchronization between the beaters and chasers and when to run and when to attack defensively and offensively. Boston has really, really cleaned up a lot of those things so far today.
Honestly, one of the few instances where the beaters were not synchronized, both collapsing on the same chaser there. Misty was going to beat. Thankfully, the chasers, as you mentioned, are synchronized with them and were able to clean it up after the misbeat for another Boston stop. And then an easy shot from, who's that?
Emma Poland.
Emma Poland brings the score 140-20. Boston leads.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if there's somebody wearing number 0 on Boston, you know they're a shooter.
That's what I've heard. The more zeros, the better.
Only thing better than 1-0 is 2-0s. Am I right?
Hey.
Drop an F in the chat if you agree.
Barasa passes over to Bueno. Bueno sends it a little high. Boston cleans it up. Back in the hands of Skura to start the offense. Unfortunately, no bludgers for this Ottawa defense as a beat went long. It's going to give a lot of time to this Boston offense for some pretty easy looks.
Boston attacking the trees again. Looks like they're working on just getting the best looks that they can. Doyle passing out of a layup on that one. Boston choosing not to run. They had no bludgers until just now.
Yeah, a little questionable, honestly, that they didn't go for any drives there with no bludgers in play for so long. Is going to result in a stop. Really would like to see a little bit more physicality from an offense in that opportunity.
Well, it looks like an example of trying to work on something mid-game, even though the obvious look is just to push the pace, and it results in a little bit of sloppy play.
Weishart and Biddle's back in and immediately looking to push the pace. Both take out beaters and chasers, resulting in a lone Ottawa keeper. Bueno trying to drive on an entire Boston defense, and they will swallow him up.
Good active hands, and that is 20 minutes as we head into the flag runner break. Once again, I will lose my partner here in the booth, but we appreciate his efforts so far and wish him the best of luck out on the pitch.
I hope not to see you all until next game, as I will be out there not getting caught.
It's all about improving, right? One step at a time. Well, Boston able to survive the 20 minutes without taking a timeout of their own. See, the pace of the play is much different here, definitely in Ottawa's favor. I mean, the score is still lopsided, but a clear improvement over last game. Ottawa definitely able to stick to the would-be game plan a little bit better. The weather might have something to do with the pace of play slowing down a little bit. Boston may be trying some things out, but they're definitely not going at the breakneck, almost hockey-style substitutions that we were seeing in the previous game. And if you're in the huddle here and you're on the winning side, you say, hey, look, we'll take 6 goals however we can get them. As long as we focus on playing defense, we don't have to worry about the outcome of this game. So as a coach in a winning huddle right now, you're saying we need to make sure that we are the more physical team defensively and we keep our heads on offense. Take what's easy. Don't force anything that's not there. If you're in Ottawa right now, you're just trying to rally the troops. You're trying to do everything you can to get a flagpole and score while conserving energy. Obviously, it's not an easy spot to be in, but the coaching point there is it's always easier to win a game when you don't dig yourselves a hole. I will say the defensive intensity for Boston has been pretty good. There was maybe a 3-2 game back in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and since then it's been a mammoth run for Boston. Not really on the offensive firepower and crazy shots or anything, but just from making simple plays, being on time, being together, and rotating well defensively. And you'd like to see it if you can. Teams that are able to climb out of big holes, they usually win the physicality game. They usually get a snitch pull. So, as things tighten up, you get into crunch time. You got to make sure that you are the first to contact. You're trying to be the hammer, not the nail. Not giving up any second chance opportunities with a quad ball on the ground, and that your beaters and seekers are going together. Which is especially important when you don't have control, which Ottawa in this case does not. So you got to look at how does your seeker interact with their beaters. It's not always about going a straight line, getting to the snitch as fast as you can. It's actually, for those of you at home that are interested, a fantastic video on the Midline YouTube channel born during COVID about how beaters and seekers can work together in non-ideal situations to kind of create an opportunity to get positive shots and to turn the tide against a beater wall that might already be set up. So they actually interview Boston's own Greg Bento, very accomplished seeker, winner of many a regional championship, 3 MLQ championships, part of a very select and elite, if I do say so myself, club in that instance. Guy that's been around a lot, won a lot of big games. Just from an observer standpoint, you can definitely see, the elements kind of having an impact on these two teams. Ottawa huddled in the shade, off behind the field any instance that they get, and you see the depth of Boston able to get through everybody in each of these two games, keep their legs fresh, and keep their wind. Definitely don't look as fatigued as the shorter and much further traveled Ottawa roster today.
Oh wait, I'm gonna actually wear a mouth guard this time.
As we mentioned, the veteran ref crew that we have doing a really good job of prioritizing player health and safety, making sure that these breaks, it's okay to be a little bit longer. We're not running up against daylight or anything, or a lighting agreement with the field. Let the players get their wind, make sure that everybody's hydrated, protected from the sun. Great day of quad ball. You hate to see anything ruined. So good job by the league in that instance. Definitely something you're okay with as a player or coach on either sideline.
They didn't punch me the first game. I'm sure they won't punch me this game.
Well, last game, as we look at kind of the seeker play, catch was maybe conceded off of being a little too risky around the snitch. Those of you seekers that might be watching this at home, I always say there's something we learn from every film. This is no different. You want to make sure that you're taking your chances where they won't hurt your team. You could be hyper conservative, like a lot of the teams in Texas will do, or in the Southwest in general, where they don't take it unless it's only a one-on-one, play a little bit more fast and loose. But at the end of the day, you take a risk by going for an engaged, a flag runner that's already engaged. You run the risk of giving up a catch and now digging yourself an even bigger hole. So definitely something to look at as the game is about to change here in the post 20-minute timeout. Players slowly getting their way back out onto the field. Still have the pairing of Weishart and Biddles with control for Boston. Appears to be Will Richardson, the Brown University standout in the box starting seeking. Ottawa players still returning to their brooms. We're looking at chasing. We have Brockman, Barasa in the beater game. Danos is partnered with, can't quite see who's still making their way onto the field. Starting at seeker looks like will be Alexander Rivoch. I wish I had more of a Boston spin on that butchering, then you'd at least have something fun to listen to. We have Naftal on the field as well as the keeper, Buenio, who is off broom to start this possession. Oh, and the other beater for Ottawa, holding their bludger, is Nakanishi. Olazaba going half speed. Kind of a delayed fast break. Ball over to Nikolai. Another great opportunity at hoops. Doesn't quite go. And a great stop by Ottawa. To get the turnover. Again, just like last game, the camera will be following quad ball as much as we can, and I'll do what I can to keep you informed of all of the comings and goings as Ottawa comes back up the pitch. Ball up at the point. Boston falling into a 2-2. No beaters really involved in the play as they head towards the flag runner. Olazaba not pressuring very much at point, just keeping in front. Eats a huge screen from number 98. Ball over the hoops. Naftel with the catch. Drive through traffic. Not enough. Olazaba's the first to the bottom of the pile and is rewarded with possession. And unfortunately, we have a player down in that pile up. That's the keeper, Bueno, who's been playing a lot of huge minutes for this Ottawa team, doing a great job bringing the ball up, trying to organize the offense, calling out the defenses at their end. Obviously, you hope that they're okay. And just speaking from kind of a former player's perspective in these situations, right? You're in a game that's not necessarily close. You know you still have another one to play. It's hot out as you get into, the meaty part of the day. Sun's on you, the turf's out here, and the game is just starting to kind of clunk along, right? We're taking extra breaks for the stoppages, the timeouts. You come out, you have another unfortunate stoppage here, as it's good to see Bueno getting helped off the field. Weight on one of his legs, being a little gingerly with the other. It's important as a player in these situations to make sure you don't lose your focus. Every opportunity is a chance to win a possession 1-0, and you just got to do your job as part of that. So whether you're Olazaba bringing up the ball, make sure you get everybody set up in the right spot. If you're a wing player, make sure that you get into your lane early and have your hands ready for a ball to try to be dangerous. Just do the little things right is all you're trying to focus on. Good screen from Mayer on the left side. And we have a stoppage here. And it will be Weishart headed to the box with contact below the knee. And as Chris LeCompte's fantastic head ref explains, this is a quad ball turnover, so Ottawa will get a stop out of that. Just Mayer back to try to stop an opportunity here. Seeing what the Team USA product is able to come up with here against Geyer with a full head of steam. Stops the ball a little bit. Olazaba's able to get back in the play, but Geyer too strong again. Players draped all over them, able to finish strong through the short hoop. That's what you like to teach in the half court, in the fast break, I should say. Ottawa back in trees with no beaters back. Doyle goes back to his form from earlier, scores himself, and we're looking at a score of 15-3. Boston ahead with a set score of 20. Big switch pass. Ball now on the right side. Boston Chasers in a 2-2. Olazaba barking out orders. Make sure the defense is connected. Doyle playing way off hoops, trying to get in the passing lane on a big skip. Ottawa playing much more conservatively with Will Andrews eyeing the quad ball game. Big screen by Naftel, and the ball carrier goes at hoops, trying to get through bodies, and Boston again collapsing. Massive hit by the, in many ways, flag runner on pitch specialist Olazaba, but a fantastic job of team tackling there. Ottawa, you love to see the on ball screen with no bludgers back. but you definitely like to see one more pass out of a collapsing defense, as we have a stoppage here. Flag runner has tail in their hands, talking over with the ref crew. If the pull does not count, it looks like there will be another Boston goal at the hands of Zach Doyle, having a banner day today. And if you're, a younger player watching this film, how do they score that goal there? By just having effort, just running down ahead of the play. So that's something that will never get you in trouble unless you run into a beater. Just make yourself available for your teammates. Sometimes the ball will find you. Just like in hockey, you want to be a goal scorer, go to the net. You want to get some free goals in quad ball, be the first one down the field, And as you're coaching your other players, your ball carriers, make sure you're rewarding the guys and gals on your team that are working the hardest and getting down ahead of the defense. Well, the catch is called off. Beckman does not have a grab. The goal will be good. So we are looking at a score of 16-3 now. The set score still of 200. It will be Ottawa ball in their keeper zone, starting in the hands of number 11, Lucas Pauly, who has also been playing a lot of key minutes throughout the series so far on the Ottawa side. Will Andrews poking its head into the quad ball game here, looking to get a free goal as they have no bludgers on the snitch. And it does result in a turnover picked up by Mayer. Mayer's been a good steadying force here in the chaotic flag runner on pitch game. Doyle goes for it all with a one-handed finish just over the hoop on the alley. Picked up by Olazaba. Big screen by Mayer, and this time it results in a goal. Love to see that. You've seen it now from Naftel and Mayer doing a fantastic job. Again, you can contribute to your team in any way possible, and that's a great job with no bludgers on the play, opening up a lane for your teammate and still making yourself available for a pass back. Doesn't always result in a goal, just like, there's no perfect play you can ever design, but it always puts the defense into rotation, and that's going to give you the best chance at every opportunity you have. Looks like we might need a wardrobe change for the flag runner. Is the famous Luke Derrick, man I just met for the first time in person now. Great guy, fantastic player, coach of the Australian national team, which will be playing at World Cup in a few weeks. Bringing over an extra pair of shorts to the short-sided sideline over by the two benches. Truly couldn't pick a better day to have some really high-level quad ball going on. Absolutely perfect, not too humid. I'm sitting in the shade, so it couldn't be better for me personally. And that's what the retired life is like so far, for those of you wondering. Can't beat it. Chris LeCompte gets everybody squared away. Great job again of vocalizing what was going on. They were fixing equipment. Everything looks squared away now, and we are back to the action. Bludgers go flying in the quad ball game as Pauly walks it up over half. For a long pass right at Zach Doyle, intended for chaser behind hoops, number 98. Rackman, I'll get the real name in a second. Brockman. Peter Lawrence flying at hoops, looks to finish through contact. May or may not have been contact worthy of a call here. The beat looked like it beat him, but we'll let the refs sort all that out. Contact deemed legal. Beat was before. We have a short stoppage and we're ready to get started once again. New seeker for Boston, Will Richardson. Collier and McCready with bludger control just behind the flag runner. Another instance where Poland is the only one back, looking to stop Polly on the fast break. And Lawrence able to get back and offer some help. Benningson trying to get a hand in there, but Polly, doesn't matter, takes it themselves and finishes through the medium-sized hoop. Ottawa back on the board. We're looking at 17-4 with a set score still of 200. But the effort has been there from Ottawa. The physicality I like in game 2 so far. Not giving up anything easy, especially without bludgers in the play. Good ball movement by Boston. A little give and go, and then Emma Poland gives the okey doke on the short hoop, finishes on the contested shot. Heads up play by Lawrence. Looks like it'll result in a Benningson fast break. Meanwhile, the refs will get everyone set up to where they were at the time of stoppage. Another question around the flag runner. Former and future play-by-play analyst Mario Nasta doing everything today. Boston Beaters have been doing a great job all game of controlling the play, controlling tempo, controlling the dodgeballs themselves, and getting their seekers a lot of time on the flag runner. But as we talk about Ottawa, though, the effort, the drive in transition, getting in position in transition and not give up anything easy outside of the whoopsie that was this play that's undergoing right now. Really doing a good job of clawing their way back into this game, kind of punishing Boston for making the decision to put beaters on the flag runner. I'm sure Tom DeMoose's mind it was, hey, let's put both of our beaters on here, let's grab a flag and let's get out of the sun so that we can have all of our legs ready for game 3. And Ottawa is not making it easy on them, making them play a whole game, making them earn everything, which is really what you want to see out of your team in this situation. That's the makeup of a team with good character, is how do you respond to adversity, and in my opinion, Ottawa's done a fantastic job so far today. Looks like the flag runner's going to stay on the field. And just as I say that, the flag runner will get off the field. It is a good catch by Greg Bento, and that will bring us to our set score. Benningson's goal never happens, and it doesn't have to. Final score, 20-4. Boston able to keep this one under control, just like game 1. We will pick up with you again in a little bit. For now, we will sign off as super manager. Lexi Bedell is headed over here to turn off the stream.
We're just gonna mute it.
We're just gonna mute it.
We're just gonna mute it. There you go.
Sorry, Lexi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You are looking at the post-game, pre-game between games 2 and 3 for the Ottawa Black Bears versus Boston Forge MLQ series today, going on in East Boston Memorial Park on a beautiful sunny day in the hub of the universe. Joined with me is play-by-play Mario Nasta, and I'm Teddy Costa. Mario, how's it going?
It's going great, Ted. It's a beautiful day, a little hot out there. Kept my promise. You didn't see me back at the back of the last game. Unfortunately, it ended with a catch anyway. Looking to do a little better this time. But as we go into game 3, Boston does currently hold a 2-0 lead.
Yep. And as we teased a little bit last game, we got some of the post game snitch reaction. What are your thoughts on seeker beating you're seeing? Some moves that are kind of, what's going through your head right now is now you've had a chance to look at a lot of seekers from both teams. Kind of how does that adjust how you're going to go into the next game?
It's a great question. So looking at the Boston side, they are just looking to throw body after body at me. They went through 4 different seekers, and almost all of them had 2 reps during that. And I think I was only out there for 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. So they are fresh legs again and again, just trying to run you into the ground when you're snitching. On that end, right, really do feel I was getting tired towards the end of it. I think I was a little flat-footed. Greg hit a nice move with the left-right. Good combo. Their seekers are looking good. I would say from the beating side of things, it doesn't really seem like Ottawa is committing much to that engagement. I wasn't seeing a ton on that half. I was getting pretty consistent pressure from Boston. I do still think against some of these more veteran teams, Boston's going to need to start coming up with catches soon, right? You're not going to get 4 straight minutes of almost uninterrupted time with a snitch in most high-level gameplay. So I think Boston does still need to clean things up a little bit and look for some more quick catches.
Yeah, that is one thing that we tried to touch on the broadcast while you were out there. It looked like the strategy from Boston was, it's hot, we still got another game to play. It feels like the game is mostly in hand. Let's throw all of our resources on the flag runner and make sure that we get a quick catch. And to Ottawa's credit, in the quad ball game, they didn't make anything easy. They didn't give up goals easily, and really then the catch didn't come quickly. So it's one of those where makes sense in the 20-minute timeout huddle. Absolutely nothing wrong with the strategy. It just feels bad if it doesn't work out. It kind of comes back to bite you a little bit, where you play maybe a little bit longer than you would have liked to, compared to if you put those bludgers on the snitch on pitch and you just absolutely push the tempo and get 6 quick ones, a la Austin or Cavalry during the regular season.
For sure, and I do say familiarity breeds parity. I have been able to go against a lot of these seekers for years now, and so I think against maybe a runner who hasn't had as much direct experience with the Boston Seeker Corps, they will probably get some better looks, some quicker catches in other games, but I would like to see them try to go after some of their newer seekers a little bit more consistently.
Yeah, just for the sake of matchups, right? I mean, that's a big part of, like, as you're game planning your personnel and thinking about seeking. A lot of it's matchups. There are very few in the world that are a great matchup against everybody, but there are some who are. But what you really want to avoid, I should say, are the people that are bad matchups for you. And it's funny, you've been the flag runner for all of Boston's games this season, which have all come at home. And so what we're seeing, I think, is a really quiet year from Boston's best seeker listed on the roster as a seeker in Tyler Beckman. I'm not so sure that we'll see that continue going forward, but again, like you said, the familiarity aspect of it, you snitch against somebody for 6 years or so, it's gonna catch up to you run out of moves as a seeker. It's hard to think on your feet while you're out there getting thrown around. So we'll see. I think that kind of speaks it to one of the themes we've seen so far today, which is really just the depth of Boston. Not even rostering all of their key pieces as they head into World Weekend in a few weeks, and still getting to run everybody in, getting major contributions, number 1 through 30. Ottawa, on the other hand, much shorter roster, obviously a long way to travel. They've already played 9 games heading into this series before today. It's a lot of wear and tear on you, and right now you're doing everything you can to get up for this game, build off of what you did well last game, which I think was the physicality towards the end, some patience offensively, and just controlling the tempo a little bit better, which they were able to do. So that's kind of been the crux all series, I think, and so far it's broken Boston's way. But if you're Ottawa, keep plugging, keep it simple, make sure that you're synchronized, you're attacking together, you're defending together, and you're playing with good mental focus in all 3 phases, and you should be in better shape for this game.
I think I'm really hoping to see this. I mean, this is going to be Ottawa's last game of this entire season. So I really would love to see them come out on all cylinders. Last game started better than the first. I would really love to see them again try to push the beater game a bit. When Boston didn't have Weishart and Biddles in, there was definitely a bit of a lull, at least on their defensive end. On offense, they were still looking to generate opportunities, but defensively, they were leaving themselves a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more conserved. I'd love to see Ottawa's beaters this game try to exploit that. And then, if anything, while Biddles and Weishart are out, maybe try to sucker them in a little bit. If you know they're going to be so aggressive, try to play some trap plays, try to throw a ball back and maybe make a play on a catch or something like that. But again, I think beating continues to be the way back into this game, so would love to see that. Put a little more pressure there.
Yeah, I love that. That will be the equalizer. I mean, we said it last game, Boston's beaters have absolutely been on one so far, but that isn't to diminish, the Ottawa claw ball play has been fierce and full of effort. They did a really good job at times of getting the ball into dangerous areas. I think they're just missing on a couple of instances that last pass. We had some in the flag runner on pitch where Naftel set great screens and you're getting team tackled 4 against 1. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you're in a 4 against 1, that means that you got 3 players open. So if you can collapse the defense and then find the last easy pass, you'll have some more success. It's not as far apart as the scoreboard makes it seem, and that's a tough thing to try to communicate and make sure your players know that as you rally to try to just leave it all out on the field for one last time.
100%. On the flip side, Boston came out firing the first game. Definitely seemed a bit slower game 2. What do you think we need to see there for them to power through a final game and leave feeling energized going to that New York series in 2 weeks?
Yeah, if you're Boston right now, you're looking to make a statement. You have nothing to save for, right? Game 1, you want to come out early. You want to show that you've improved during your time in between series, and you want to demonstrate the things that you've been working so hard on in practice for a few weeks, right? And then in Game 2, you understand. We are looking to get all of our depth in. We're looking to make sure that the game is still under control while we work on some new things and we save ourselves for Game 3. Well, Game 3 is here. That's what you saved yourself for. So if I'm Tom DeMuth, I'm making sure that there is nothing left on the field. You're going back to that breakneck. If you want to do substitutions, you can. But you get fresh legs in there, you get fresh bodies in there, you play loose, you play together, you fly off the handle so that you can go back to controlling the tempo and making it hard for Ottawa to regain their poise, as we talked about in the pregame before Game 1.
For sure. I think beaters keep doing the same thing they were. Like we said, they have been on a rip all day. I think chasers really, though, we want to see improved mental focus going into this last game. You can't have any of that sloppy finish round hoops because the games that matter, those are the things that decide, right? This series is a good opportunity to get the little things right and to make sure you are prepared for the New Yorks of the league. I want to see them get it right this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you'd look for if you're on the Boston sideline. So we'll see how the pace of play looks. Both teams getting close to breaking their huddle. Boston's already out there. Starting line of Carson, Olazaba, Will Andrews, Aaron McCready, Ian Skura, Athena Mayer, and Zach Doyle.
Ottawa hitting the pitch. Starting lineup of Anton Barasa, Mark Everard, Colin Chia, Julian Bernier, David Danos, and I've lost the last one. Who's the keeper right now? Can you tell?
Cooper is 93.
Got 93. Oh, it's the other beater. Who's the other beater's number?
72, and hard to tell. Fantastic beard, though.
Fantastic beard out of the last starting beater for Ottawa. Unfortunately, I can't see the number, so I apologize, but we'll get you the final member of the starting lineup. Just
The famous Flamingo line is out for Ottawa right now. Formidable. We love to see it. I actually just put up a new painting of flamingos in my brand new house. So
incredible
I
stuff.
get it. It
I
matches.
look forward to seeing that one day.
Matches the rug.
You got pink rugs?
We have flamingos on the rug.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a neutral rug. It really ties everything together. You got to be there. It's kind of a geography thing.
Makes sense.
But there's no place I'd rather be than here in East Boston before the start of Boston versus Ottawa, Game 3. Chris Lecomte gets us going here in the following seconds. And we're off. Boston quad ball and control to start.
Cleanest brooms up Boston has had so far. They are ready to go. Skura to Mayer. Mayer back to Skura. Probing the defense a little bit and back to Mayer for a quick shot. Boston's on the board, 10-0.
1-2. Boston has started extremely well in all three games in terms of being together on that first possession. Very well done. Good job being prepared coming out of stoppages, which is what you like to see out of good teams.
Ottawa looking to overload the right side a little bit. Got some deep passing options and then some beater support on the wing. 93 sends it deep to Chia. Fields the ball, passes it wide to Merlin. Unfortunately, a beat comes through, and that is Boston's ball. Skura with the ball, passes it deep to Olbazala, passes it across to Mayer. Mayer puts it through. That is her second goal of the day, or sorry, of the game, I should say. Boston leads 20-0.
Mayer with a quick 2 here. I like what Ottawa's looking to do on the last possession, something we talked about a little bit, right? Let your beaters play together, let your quad ball players see the play in front of them. I just think the spacing could use a little bit of a touch-up there. You don't have to make that big swing pass all in one because that allows the beater to go step out a lot easier. Lost exchange and they're in trouble.
Great beating from the Boston side. A kick beat by Aaron. And another goal for Athena Mayer. Gets her own hat trick, Game 3, says, sorry, Doyle, this one's not for you. Boston leads 30-0.
And that's the transition. That's the type of pace that you want to see, as we talked about in the pregame if you're on the Boston side. Ottawa, let's see if they can get the poise together a little bit.
Unfortunately, beats out of the Ottawa team are not coming hard enough, and that is leading to some easy catches from the Boston team.
I like the way that they're able to force rotation there out of that overloaded look by going around the hoops. Something that we talked about last game as Zach Doyle's headed off for a legal contact. He said if they want to be aggressive and step out high in the middle of the field, use the edges, use the space behind, and put them into rotation and get good looks.
Exactly. Quick rotation is what led to that foul, right? Doyle's operating a little bit slow, ends up behind his mark. Has to make a hit, can't do it legally, and that results in a foul. Thankfully, Boston's able to stay calm with Doyle in the box, lock out the rest of that defense due to a bit of a long pass, and it is Boston's ball in the hands of Olbazala.
Yeah, unfortunate execution there from the Ottawa side after being set up after a foul.
Ball in the hands of Mayer, sends it deep to Skura. off of some beats from Boston, an easy driving lane. Ball just misses the top hoop, but Obazawa is able to pick it up and put it in, bringing the lead 40-0 for Boston.
And Ian Skura, off ball behind hoops is a dangerous spot to be in. There are very few players harder to break down on from a chaser defense perspective than Ian, right, in that situation. They have, Ian has all control over where he's going, and you're trying to react while breaking down his space on the fly. Very, very difficult. You throw in the shooting and passing ability, it's damn near impossible.
Very true. Trade of beats in the keeper zone. Ottawa gets a bit of an opportunity. Unfortunately, it's a lot farther to run back to the Ottawa hoops than it is the Boston, so Boston beaters are able to get back into the play faster and cause a beat for a turnover. On the back end, Doyle is out here putting on a bit of a show for the refs. Unfortunately, Chris Lecomte is not buying tickets. Gonna keep the ball in the hands of Ottawa as they get a stop off of a slightly high pass.
This marks the first time in this that I've ever I thought that was cheeky from Doyle, but you know, he's in charge, not me, so we play on.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you would want to see that a foul. Beautiful pass from Skura to Obazawa. Another goal for Boston. They are leading, is it 50-0 or 60-0?
5-0.
5-0. These old eyes can't see all the way across.
Boston in the 2-2 zone again, getting their length at the hoops with their all-star point defense at the top in the form of Taylor Crawford and his partner, Sierra Dell.
Reed with the ball for Ottawa, passes it deep. I believe it was Brockman. Brockman looks to drive, gets grabbed, passes it out to Reed. Reed collects it, sends it to Naftel. Naftel sends it up front to Pauly, and Pauly is able to score, putting Ottawa on the board. Score is 50-10. Again, beautiful rotation.
Yes.
Using the entire side of the pitch, able to swing the ball around and get an open opportunity.
Excellent job, and that's what Ottawa has demonstrated they're capable of all series. They just haven't been putting it together. So good to see the ball touch everybody's hands, even with Leon Dillman knocking down the short hoop inadvertently on that play, finding a space to score on a different one. Great job attacking the zone.
Couple passes for Boston leads to an open Taylor Crawford behind hoops, who is able to punch it through the top hoop. Another goal for Boston puts us at 60-10. Ottawa ball heading down the pitch in the hands of Pauly. Taking it a bit slow. Again, looking to be on the sideline, waiting for a beater sub to come in. Sends the ball deep to Brockman, who sends it back up top. Fortunately, the pass option is beat, which will result in the ball going across mid-pitch, giving an illegal reset and an immediate turnover to Boston Chaser.
Good positioning there by Leon Dillman. And if you're Ottawa, I think you got to try to force her to not be able to play outside the keeper zone up top while the quad ball is behind hoops in the back corner. You got to keep the beaters honest. Force rotation.
Ball in the hands of Peter Lawrence. Like we said, they are a incredible driving threat. Run right through the keeper zone, put one over a defender on the medium hoop. Boston is up 70-10.
Just an impressive mass of charisma and driving with a head of steam.
Beater trade at the top allows Pauly to pass it deep to Brockman. Unfortunately, free beater for Boston. Leon Dillman is able to clean it up, resulting in a turnover to Boston as the ball went off pitch. Beckman now moving down pitch with the quad ball. Boston still has bludger control.
Dell communicating really well from the corner. Boston sets up in a box geometry to attack this trees defense.
Boston really just beating out point chasers, Allard and Brockman, forcing the Ottawa defense to really condense in on its own hoops and allowing for another pretty short range shot from Lawrence, putting Boston up 80-10.
And this is where you fall into kind of that as a zone, right? you can't concede too much space, right? So as a beater, as a chaser, it doesn't really feel like you messed up. You didn't lose a huge exchange. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just getting beat out. But you got to know when to go eat a beat as a chaser to free up your beaters to push the offense back. If you let them walk you in like that, you're going to be in trouble every time.
Yeah, I think Ottawa really needs to start looking to use their keeper a little bit more effectively at the point of that zone. Right now, they're only using chasers to guard the front Boston chaser, and those are just getting beat out again and again and again.
Absolutely.
Quick give and go from Lawrence to Beckman allows for another goal on the Boston side. They now lead 90-10.
And again, if you're using this film as a teaching tool, right, don't look at it and say, oh, if we run, we win, right? It's if you defend, you're able to run, and then you're able to get your best chances to score. You don't let zones get set up, and you can cause chaos and mistakes from your opposition. So it's about defense, which starts with communication and effort.
A wise man once said, every offense starts on defense.
Absolutely.
Another stop from Boston. They now head down the field. Ball in the hands of Beckman, passes it behind to Crawford. Beautiful little dump pass to a quick shot from Crawford. Puts Boston up 100-10. Ottawa ball.
Good to see the keeper Buenio back in after coming off with an injury last game.
Some aggressive beats on Ottawa open up the lane, and after a nice pass, Ottawa is able to put it away.
Fantastic job of forcing Boston into rotation. Tyler Beckman came flying out, ready to make a hit to force a bad pass. Did forced a long pass, but the P's and Q's weren't all there for the Boston side. Ottawa chaser was able to high point the ball and put through a good goal. But that's really good timing and really good using of space from the Ottawa offense right there.
That was a beautiful slap from Julian Berner to keep that ball alive. And then Anton Barassa was able to just collect it and put it away with a nice shot. So now 20-100, Boston leading. Boston will now look to push the pace, drive right through. Taylor Crawford, also quite the mass of charisma and muscle, able to push himself through the Ottawa defense, and Boston now leads 110-20.
And that, I know it's been said before, not to beat a dead horse, but that's a huge pickup for this Boston organization to have Taylor Crawford come over during kind of a transitional period where they might have been losing a little bit of a veteran leadership and physicality. Crawford brings both of those teams both of those things to this team, as well as just a calming presence to help steady the waters in adversity during a game.
Some aggressive beating from Boston there is able to clean up Ottawa half-court offense. It's a very close play, but Weishart was able to get that beat off just before the pass from Bueno, allowing for that turnover. Crawford, seeing no bludgers on Ottawa's side, takes the opportunity for another fast break, another drive, and another goal. It's going to be 120-220 Boston lead.
I love the jump cut from Crawford there. You know, another thing that you can pull out of this if you're watching as an individual player, especially in the quad ball game, I don't see the beaters quite as well as other beaters do, but I love the jump cut in transition. I love, you saw Will Richardson do it before. Crawford, strong, could go either way, but left-handed, likes to go to his left side, protect the ball. And you're just kind of in a rock and a hard place if you're a defender in that situation, trying to read and react to the hips. So that's one. For those of you trying to work on your footwork bag at home, get the jump cut in your arsenal, especially with two-arm tackling. It's one of the best ways to get you some lateral space, when you really need it.
No, that was a great call. On the beater side of things, we got Weishart and Biddles back in for Boston. They continue to put on a clinic. I will say they've been slightly less aggressive this rotation, looking to allow Ottawa to get a little bit more depth into their half before they flip the switch and start attacking. And they're, again, being very successful with those attacks. One thing to note, if you're a beater out there, the amount of communication coming out of that pair. Weishart behind Biddles is letting them know every single time the coast is clear for them to push. As soon as those beater duels are done, calling out, hey, it's time to go, it's time to pressure, and then they are both going to opposite sides, clearing out all the chasing passing options, and then collapsing on the quad ball carrier. Really just textbook stuff out of that pair.
And it doesn't just make your other beater better, it makes your chaser's job much easier. It makes them much more effective. As a chaser who in his playing life just lived off of the success of the beaters behind him, I can confirm this is 100% the case. When you have a beater seeing the play behind you as a point defender and letting you know where to take space, when to get beat, which is also extremely important, when to take a risk and when to come back, that communication coming from behind you and you trusting your teammate and just listening to it no matter what is huge and can make or break possessions.
100%. All right, as this break comes to a close, again, the score is currently 120-20. Boston leads Game 3 of our Boston-Ottawa series.
We just finished the 10-minute timeout, added this series for the sake of player safety, which you love to see from the league.
To be clear, that's a timeout at 10 minutes, not a timeout that lasts 10 minutes.
No, this one is much closer to a 5-minute length. Probably in the realm of 2 or 3. Price is Right, I probably busted.
All right, we'll kick things off again. Some aggressive beating out of Boston. Thankfully, Ottawa saw what was going on. Blenio patiently waited his keeper zone, taking as much time to get out as possible so as not to give Boston an opportunity for a quick turnover. Blenio heading down the left side of the pitch. He's got Reed on his outside, dumps it to Reed. Reed sends it back to Blenio. Blenio is able to dodge a beat, just barely, sends it back to Reed. Reed unfortunately is beat, and Weishart clean up another Ottawa offense, allowing for another fast break from Boston. Unfortunately, shot goes a little high, gonna roll off pitch, and it's gonna be Ottawa's ball.
Great effort in transition from defense. You see Reed clapping their hands right there. That's how you get back. That's how you keep working, no matter what. Treat every possession like it's the only possession. Great job getting bodies in front of hoops there. Force a pass, force a shot from farther away than the offense would like.
For sure, both teams getting some subs out here. Keep the legs fresh. Reed is going to attack down the outside of the pitch, pass it in central to Keeler. Keeler looking to send it deep to Sweeney, who is not able to quite keep it in bounds, which means it's going to turn over to Skura. That was a questionable beat call as the player was still out of bounds. You can't be beat out of bounds, but we'll pretend we didn't see it. Skura with the ball sends it to Benningson in the center. Boston, still with control, is looking to take a nice, slow, methodical offense. Skura and Benningson just sending it back and forth, playing a little game of catch. Now it's going wide to Powen, back up to Skura, back over to number 0, takes a shot, ooh, just barely misses off the bottom of the hoop. That was a questionable pass off the ball from number 98. Brockman beat on the ground, unfortunately didn't just drop the ball, but kind of handed it to the keeper. Not allowed to do that once you're beat, so that is likely going to result in a turnover, giving the ball to Steinberg of Boston.
Very, very heads-up play by Aaron McCready right there, and the women beaters on Boston right now are just having an absolute day, an absolute series. Great job by them. Everybody in Boston is on one right now on the beating line, but that's another heads-up play and just more domination.
Steinberg sends it central to Powen, who sends it wide to Skura. Skura back to Powen. Powen looking for a shot. This time goes bar down, says she's not going to miss twice.
Absolutely.
She's had enough of that hoop. It needs to learn a lesson.
Absolutely.
130-20, Boston leads.
As a shooter, all a miss does is let you know that you're due to make the next one.
Teddy knows all about it.
That's all. One thing I'm noticing from Boston, I mean, it makes sense, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. They've been in very much kind of a 2-2 more aggressive beating pretty much all series, whereas we've seen Coach Tom DeBooth in the past try to mix up defenses a little bit more. Might be something they're maybe saving in their back pocket to not have to use right now if they don't want to. Keep it off the film. But curious to see what they do the rest of the season.
Fair. Some beating happening in the mid-pitch. Nice shot from Aaron, forces a deep pass, which is going to result in a turnover. However, it almost cost them budget control. However, looks like 64 was able to fall on that ball long enough to delay for Aaron McCready to get back in and regain budget control for Boston. Yeah. Skura sends it wide to Steinberg, takes a little bit of a drive, meets some opposition, sends it back up to Skura, then finds Cowan, who takes another shot, puts it in over the hands of the defender. We are now at 140-20.
You know what they say? They say hand down, man down. Sometimes even with the hand up, it's not enough. So great job by Poland going off right now. Sometimes as a shooter, those goals look like swimming pools out there, and she's having a great summer day right now. It's like throwing it in the ocean.
Warning! Ottawa stalling!
Chris LeConte has somewhere to be. The stalling call.
Steeler sends it back to Reed. Reed being met by some Boston defense, looks to send it wide over to Duquette. Unfortunately, Duquette not able to get that pass. It was a little too high. It's going to go off pitch and be a turnover to Boston. Ball in the hands of Skura, heading up pitch, accompanied by a new beater rotation from Boston, well, new to this game anyway. Kieran Collier and Leanne Dillman. Beat sent towards Poland, not able to connect. Incredible fast feet there from her. Gets the pass over to Skura, who immediately finds Steinberg behind hoops. He gets a little jump around a defender, gets a quick dunk, and now we are at 150-20. Boston lead.
Nifty finish by Steinberg.
Twinkle toes out there.
Maniac, twinkle toes the maniac. You love it. You love to see it from Steinberg. It's really an underrated skill, I'd say, is finishing around hoops, especially in this era of two-arm tackling. It looks easy, right, because all the shots are close and you definitely make most of them, but it's not as easy as you think with active hands around hoops, the opportunity for the defense to just completely lay you out. You got to be able to be quick on your feet and have a move you want to do and a counter ready in case it gets stopped.
And Steinberg looked like he had that little hop rehearsed.
He was ready.
Because he caught that ball, immediately gave the little hop and put it through.
Yeah.
Very prepared.
Time speeds up down there, right? You're in the most danger zone, so you're going to get the most reaction from the defense. You're going to have multiple bodies crashing at you. You're going to have a dodgeball you probably can't see getting thrown at you. So definitely something, as a younger player, you want to make sure that you work on. Don't think of it as like, oh, it's a layup. I'll skip it, because those win and lose games. They win and lose championships.
I believe this is Ottawa's timeout, currently down 20-150. Thoughts from them here? What can they do to change the course of this last game?
Just like in any situation, you want to make sure that you keep going back to what's working, and you fix the things that aren't. So they've had success using the wide areas of the field and attacking the deep corners. What's not working, I think, is a little bit of the spacing and a little bit of the execution. So if your passing lanes are too far away, the ball's going to fall on the ground. If the ball's on the ground, it's very, very difficult to score if the quad ball hits the ground during a regular possession.
Especially with the amount of just intensity coming out of this Boston defense.
Yes.
They are ready to fall.
And the fact
those
that
balls.
you're almost always going against bludger control, it just buys the defense extra time, even if you're the first one to it.
Sure.
So I'd say keep looking to expose the fact that the Boston Beaters are playing way up and playing out by the middle of the field. Use the sides, use the area behind, but clean up the execution with your spacing.
I think specifically, Ottawa's getting a little too sucked into the pass back and forth up top, right? They're starting on the wing.
Yeah.
They're getting that pass deep, and they're sending it right back up top and right back deep and right back up top, instead of getting that full rotation of the pitch we saw a couple times in the beginning of this period. And the full rotation was really where they looked to shine. And you
Yeah.
could see Boston starting to lose the ball after the third or fourth pass. So
Yeah.
love to see them working it all the way around the pitch instead of just focusing on the one side here.
Absolutely. Change sides of hoops and change sides of the field. No team can run as fast as the ball can move. And that type of rotation led to, I believe, their second goal of the day today. It was absolutely beautiful. A golazo if there ever was one. And it's the type of thing that would expose Leanne Dillman's positioning way up high in the middle of the field, because now if you can get to that back corner with 2 or 3 passes, now she's completely out of the play.
Sure.
Even without winning an exchange. So those are the things to think about.
Brockman with the ball in the wing, looking to drive central right at Leanne Dillman, unfortunately, which results in 2 quick beats and a breakaway for Poland, who puts in yet another short-range shot, giving Boston the lead 160 to 20.
My goodness. Have a day. I'm a Poland.
Telling you, Boston players just are getting on rips. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen someone score 3 or 4 straight goals out of that team.
Yep. Athena Mayer, Zach Doyle. And it's a result of kind of the positioning, right? Those are still team goals, for sure, even if one person's being the beneficiary. But I will say that Panda program looks pretty good right about now. Great hands on that deflection.
Biddle's defense and attack in the mid-pitch, resulting in a no-bludger defense for Ottawa, allowing Abe Benningson a nice shot at the tall hoop. Unfortunately, it's a little bit wide. However, Tremple collects it and immediately kicks it out wide to Steinberg, who restarts the offense from the center, running all the way back up top, sends it wide to Benningson, who just barely misses a shot thanks to a tip from keeper Hawley on Ottawa. However, Steinberg doesn't quit, collects the ball off the shot, and puts it right back in himself.
Great defense at the hoops right there from Ottawa, but better effort right there, and that's what you get out of Andrew Steinberg. U.S. National Team Developmental Academy for a reason. Really helped bring Brown to prominence a couple of years ago, U.S. Crew season, building that program. Just a motor that doesn't quit.
For sure. Long range beat from Biddles at the start of that defense allows Fiona Weishart to clean up a wide pass, giving yet another breakaway to the Boston offense. They score. It is now 180 to 20.
And that's 2 consecutive Brown University goals, as Will Richardson's checked back into the game alongside Greg Bento with
Tremple
and Nikolai.
Ball wide for Ottawa, sends it back to the center in Guinio's hands, kicks it back out wide to Barasa, who looks to send it past deep. Unfortunately, Tremple is all over it. SWAT team in the house.
Textbook, that's the way you teach it. Make sure you break down with a hand up.
Got all kinds of balls flying right now. Tremple sent it wide to Richardson. Richardson wasn't quite able to collect the pass cleanly due to a tip from an Ottawa chaser. Unfortunately for that Ottawa chaser, Richardson cleans it up from the ground, and when 93, who is Bernier, looks to re-engage from behind, gonna earn himself a minute in the box, ball back in the hands of Richardson. Reichen eyeing down Richardson with a bludger, forces a quick shot. Buenio eats up that quick shot, results in a no-bludger defense for Boston, meaning a no-bludger offense for Ottawa. However, Will Richardson is a little disappointed he wasn't able to score on that last drive, so he plays some high defense, steals the ball right out of Buenio's hands, and then runs down himself for a quick goal. He will not be denied.
Great
190
defense.
to 20.
Great
Boston
defense
leads.
from Greg Bento, right? I mean, life is easy as a point defender when you have beaters dominating behind you, winning exchanges, giving you space to use. It's really hard when you don't have that behind you. And Bento slid his feet, stayed fundamental, got into really good form tackle to help set up that turnover.
Buenio looking to drive center, gets a pass out wide to Barasa, who is able to collect it and immediately put it in, getting a third goal for Ottawa. However, with no bludgers on defense, Boston is able to immediately respond, putting in a goal of their own off of a couple quick passes and a beautiful screen. And now they are leading 200-30.
I love that offensive possession from Ottawa, resulting in a goal. Finally able to take advantage of the beaters and chasers playing way out. Tremple was out looking to get in the passing lane for someone else. Lost track of his P's and Q's behind him there.
Again, these two are just synced up. One takes out a beater, the other immediately attacks the quad ball again. Unfortunately, as they were gearing up the chasers on the Ottawa side, Boston's Steven Tremple did end up with an illegal wrap on the back of Naftel of Ottawa, so Tremple's going to be sent to the box for a minute. Quad ball will remain in possession of Naftel.
See the positioning right here and behind the ball with Naftel. If you're the Ottawa chaser, don't do this with your arm. Take a huge step. You're not moving in between the play. That's not illegal. Make sure that your butt is in the way of the defender so they physically cannot go help the point defender on that play. Don't use it with your arm. Get your whole body in the way.
Exactly. Think your pivot foot in basketball. Use it as much as possible.
And, just because you can't move in between plays doesn't mean you can't position yourself in an advantageous way.
That is going to be 20 minutes. Reed was not able to break through the second tackle out of Boston. Throws the ball off as a beat was coming. Didn't quite make it through the hoop and wasn't quite able to get collected behind hoop, so we'll go off pitch, resulting in the end of period one. That does put us at 200-30 going into runner on pitch. Again, I will be trying to not get caught. So far, hasn't worked so great, but third time's the charm, so they say.
That's right. That's why they play the game, So we will lose our play-by-play in a little bit. In the meantime, I'll just talk through kind of what you're thinking about if you're in each huddle as we have been during these stoppages. As a coach in the situation, if you're in the winning huddle, you want to look at scoring situation. You don't have to change too much X's and O's wise about what you're doing, but you want to look at the mentality, right? So Boston in the first series had some issues with letting their foot off the gas, mental focus, issues with cards. You want to make sure that as you're trying to push the pace, you don't become undisciplined and disconnected in the back. You want to make sure that your beaters aren't just playing connected and your chasers are playing connected, but that all six of you are on some big loopy string that you're all holding. So, those types of things resulted in the Ottawa goal, and then the foul on the contacting player without a ball, player behind, whatever it was. So there's always some little things to clean up. As a coach, you remind them it's your job to be nitpicky so that their players can be at their absolute best and reach their full potential. On the Ottawa side, again, the hustle has been there. You focus on what's going well and try to clean up the things that aren't. So, do what you can to not split up, not be at risk for losing two separate beater interactions and leave your chasers completely pointless. Do what you can to control some portion of the field and play within yourself there. Yeah. Then as you're doing that, make sure that portion of the field you're controlling moves with the ball so that you can force a rotation on the defense.
For sure. And if Boston continues to focus pretty much all of their beater support on snitch, take the advantage right in that quaffle game, right? If you're not able to break through, you don't always have to match the other team's beaters, right? Look for some opportunities, maybe pump the score up a little bit in the chaser game. Yeah. I know I have been caught twice, but you got at least 3 minutes out of the first two games. You could use a little bit of that to take some time.
Yeah, send in bodies, do whatever you can. I know it's a hot day. It's been a long series. It's been a lot of getting in and out of transition. Don't have a ton of extra bodies, but do what you can. Utilize and train your defensive seekers for situations like this. The game changes, and sometimes if you go out of your way to not match the other team, you can throw them off. You can take some advantages during the mental adjustment period for the other team to kind of respond. So definitely something that's worth looking into, and just be gritty. make everything hard. You want to be a team that doesn't roll over. You want to be a team that shows the kind of effort that this Black Bears team has been showing. We've seen glimpses of what it looks like when it all comes together. There is a lot of talent on this team, and so right now you just want to make sure you look at one play at a time, one pass at a time, one cut at a time. How can I put my teammates in the best position to succeed? So that's kind of what you're trying to drive home. If you're on the Ottawa side, take your water, take your rest. You're going to get a little bit of a long break here. It's as we've been doing all day, which you love to see from the league. And keep it simple, right? It's like in baseball. If you're down 7 runs, you're not going to hit a 7-run home run. You just get guys on base, put the ball in play, and be competitive. Make it tough on the other team to finish you out. You take advantage of every moment, every opportunity that you have out there. So it's funny, right? It really comes down to mental focus, and based on the score and situation, what you're mentally focusing on changes a little bit. Still a beautiful day here in Boston in the shadow of Logan International Airport. We got a full slate today. We have the series this early afternoon, and then we have the practice squad players getting ready, warming up for a series of their own immediately following this one. But it is great to see teams utilizing the ability to have their practice squad building their pipeline to get contributions, not just in the local college game, helping the health of the sport in general, but just helping the franchises kind of perform at their best and overcome players retiring, players moving, so that you can be as competitive as you possibly can be year after year after year. Boston has done a good job of that. New York does a good job of it. Austin typically finds a way to incorporate younger players year over year. That's kind of one of the things that really can separate a good team from a great team, as everybody looks to be the best team. It's occurring to me that where I'm sitting in my chair in relation to the camera might be affecting how well you hear my voice. I hope it's the same and unoffensive at all times, but I'm going to do my best to be consistent. As always, cameraman Jose's been doing a great job. He's going to follow the quad ball game. I'll do everything I can to keep you up to date on the important happenings. We have a score of 20-3 right now, with a set score of 26, as Boston starts with the quad ball and dodgeball control. Starting seeker will be Tyler Beckman on the Boston side. And on the Ottawa side, we have, once again, Rivioche, number 39, gray hair color, starting at seeker.
Rare glimpse of Beckman starting out, because Boston has 100% of their other seekers in the quad ball.
It's an excellent point by the snitch and play-by-play man, doing both at once here. There's nothing this man can't do. Pretty much every other seeker on the Boston sideline is currently in the game. So Tyler Beckman, someone who doesn't typically start seeking out of superstition or preference or both, will be starting seeking on the Boston side. Olazaba, flag runner on pitch machine, plays for Bosnia during the USQ season, dragging the ball around the backside and hits from distance. Barely in this zip code. Olazaba with the push shot barred down. That's top shelf where mama keeps the cookies, and it's a goal for Boston. Beckman getting a look at the flag runner here. Meanwhile, a quick 1-2 from Ottawa and a great goal there by number 98 Brockman. Well done. All the dodgeballs around the flag runner right now. Collier wins exchange of catches and beats multiple times over. Olazaba being pressured at the point. Dragging the ball right side. Dumps it to Mayer. And we have the flag in Tyler Beckman's hands, and he is off the field. So if that's any indication of whether or not that's good, I'd say it's a good pull. As always, I didn't watch, but that's not my job. As I said before, we had a great ref crew today. They'll figure it out. It is a good pull, and that'll be 3.5 more goals for Boston.
Not my best showing.
Not your worst, maybe.
Felt pretty bad. Well, I guess I've been thoroughly embarrassed this weekend.
Hey, that's all right. That's what we're here for. It's about them. It's not about us. These are the best of the best. Mayer trying to get herself space on the restart. A little roll
Beautiful.
pass to Lawrence. One more to Delk. Very well executed off the stoppage. That will bring the score to
255-40. Boston needs 1 goal to end this series.
And Mario, as the ball comes up here, what did you think about your last time out there?
Pretty disappointed in myself, but I will say good beats from both sides. Both committed a little bit there, but Beckman just had a great look, honestly. Had a dive on the left side, powered through my shove on his shoulder. I thought I had a little bit more of his body than I did with the push. He slid right under it, was able to get a clean dive, and that was that, unfortunately.
That was that, and this is this. Peter Lawrence finishes this one off with a finger roll lay, and Boston cruises here in Game 3. They take all 3 games here at home, protecting home turf so far this series as they gear up for the big time down in the Big Apple, New York City, as they will take on New York under the lights at MLQ World Weekend. Again, do whatever you can to get there. We got to see some great action today as the teams are lining up to shake hands now. Boston wins this one by a final of 265-40 for Mario Nasso. I'm Teddy Costa, and we are signing off.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Next Gen Showcase coming up.